Alright, welcome back everyone. So this wash on the Camaro, I'm going to actually be using the Glassparency S1 Soap. So I just bought a 8-ounce bottle to see if it's worth like a prep soap. It's kind of like a Car Pro Lift. So let's see, it's right here, notes: heavy duty soap concentrate with a classic bubble scent. Our $1 formula is ideal for heavily contaminated surfaces, stripping a surface of temporary waxes / silicas, as well as leaving a streak-free shine on uncoated vehicles. Apply to a cool surface and avoid allowing the product to dry on the surface. Directions: pour 1 to 3 ounces of S1 into a 5-gallon bucket. Use water pressure to form suds. Wash with a soft mitt or designated washcloths. Rinse with clean water. Man, I can't read this morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test the pH of this guy. I'm just going to give it a quick shake. Just like I did with Car Pro Lift, and we'll find out what the pH is of this one right out of the bottle here. I get a pH strip here. My hands are full of soap already. You know, the tops that Glassparency is using here, they're not that great because I have their other soap too, and it leaks from the back side of those things. Okay, so let me just pop this off. I actually broke off 2, which is fine. I need 2 of them anyways. Okay, so I'll just dip this in here and we'll see where it's at on the pH scale. Okay, so it changed green, so you're looking at around either a 10, more like a 9, pH of 9, and I forget what Lift was. I think Lift was closer to a 12. So it's not very, it doesn't look like it's very strong. I'm going to dilute it in water and then we'll measure it again there. So let me just go take this in the bucket and then I'll measure the pH of the bucket, because I'm going to throw a couple ounces of soap in there. Will take me an extra strip here. Come on, there we go. So you can see it's still green, doesn't change. Okay, so let me just roll over to the bucket. And I'm going to throw a couple ounces of soap in here. So that's 2 ounces in there. I'm just going to go ahead and use this brush here to okay, so if I dunk this guy in the solution, you can see that it's you're close to a 7, so you can see how low that is. I'm actually going to dunk this other side on just empty water here. You can see it's pretty identical in color, so it's not going to be very aggressive when you put it in your wash bucket. I forget what Lift was, but you can see that it goes from this dark green to a pH of 7. And so it kind of brings it down really close. So you shouldn't have a problem using this to strip off your existing coating, and that's what I'm going to do. Is actually going to fill up the foam gun, and we'll go from there. So I'll show you the way I use it. This shampoo right off the bat doesn't have a lot of suds. Alright, so let me get to that. Let me actually move the Camaro back, and then we'll start washing it. Alright, stay tuned. One last thing, so I'll actually put some in the foam gun. I'll measure the pH of it in the foam gun, and we'll go from there. So I'll just put the strip in here. You can see this has a little bit more pH because of that on there. We're looking at roughly about an 8. So roughly about an 8 on the pH scale here. So it's coming down from like a 9, somewhere between a 9 and 10 to like a 8. So it's dropped a little bit. You can see how much it dropped in the bucket, and it's even going to drop more once I get it out of the foam gun. So let me just go pull this car a little bit. I'm actually going to probably pull it up back there because the sun's starting to come out and need some more shade. So it's time to foam, and I got the Glassparency S1 in the foam gun. So I'm going to just go ahead and foam it, and I'll show you what it looks like as I'm foaming. Let me just walk over here. Let me turn this guy on. So you can see it's not going to be the most high sudsing shampoo. Make sure I got this set up right here. Yeah, so that's max foam. So you can see it's not going to be the most high sudsing shampoo. This is an 1.5 ounces in the foam gun. And the reason I'm using this, well, not only in the foam gun but S1, is to strip down as much as I can of any toppers that have been applied to the car. Because I've been applying a lot of toppers on here, just kind of experimenting, like the OG drying aid, you know, that type of stuff. Just put this on the floor, and I want to just strip that off before I get to the using UNCOATED as a topper. Okay, and so I'll just take this here and I'll show you what it's like to use it on the paint here. Like I said, it's not the most high sudsing shampoo. What I'm interested in is if it'll strip off or damage the coating that's there. You know, I've had C-quartz on here for about a year, and so I'm really interested to see if it'll damage that. But you can see it's not the high sudsing formula here, and it's starting to get hot because it's starting to dry out here. So let me just go work through this real fast, and then I'm just going to go ahead and rinse it, and I'll show you what it's like. We're going to rinse off, and I actually had to reactivate it here on the side here of the glass so it doesn't, because it's starting to dry. And so let me just go ahead and rinse it off. It looks like it didn't impact the coating because the glass coating is still intact. Yeah, at that pH level, you're not going to really affect your base layer coating. Yeah, this thing's just beating like crazy. Here's where I'm starting to see the hydrophobics kind of die off of whatever I've used. So you can see it doesn't really do anything to the coating. The trim is perfectly fine. Let me get this mitt out of the way. Once you break through the soap residue, you can actually see what's going on, and you know, that's just kind of deep clean the coating. And that was one of the questions that I had to Glassparency and I didn't really answer, is can I use S1 during a decon wash? They just kind of just said, oh, it should be used for prep, basically just covering their behinds. But you can see it didn't impact the coating. This thing just sheets right off. I mean, just if I flood the surface, it just sheets off. So let me just go ahead and finish sheeting this thing off, and then I'm going to go ahead and dry this off, and then I'm going to go ahead and put can coat. I'm going to let it dry off for a few hours and then put can coat as a topper to kind of just show you that you can put it on top of a coating that's you know, a year old or over a year old, if not a year later. Okay, so final thoughts on S1 from Glassparency. So this is actually designed as a prep wash prior to your polishing and coating stages or whatever wax sealant, and for that purpose it works really well. Today I use it to do a decon of the Camaro and kind of remove any toppers that were on there and get back to the base layer of the coating, because I did want to put Geon Can Coat as a topper over it, you know, just to kind of come back with a panel wipe, put Geon Can Coat, call it good. I did use an iron remover during the decon. There's not a lot of iron on here because this car sits inside most of the time. But overall, for a prep wash, this works really well. I use this on the Dodge Charger during the prep wash prior to me polishing and coating it. One thing I will mention that you're going to be careful is using it on soft black paint, because I just noticed that I marred the heck out of this panel here, and so it's going to have to be polished and recoated. This paint is really soft, and that's one of the drawbacks to that. You know, these pieces and these pieces are really soft black paint, so I have to repolish those and just put can coat on there. The rest of the paint looks fine. I'm just looking at it underneath this light. Yeah, the rest of the paint looks perfectly fine, so just kind of be careful when you're using it on soft black paints. If you're going to use this as a decon, part of your decon process. If you're going to use it on soft black paint, my recommendation would just to be use this as a pre-foam. Just foam the car, let it soak for a little bit, rinse it off, and then go back to your normal wash, maybe Car Pro Reset or something like that, and deep clean your paint. But something that has a little bit more lubricity for soft paint. But overall, this works good. It did its job. It looks like it worked because the hydrophobics on this rear quarter panel right here have been degrading, and it looks like any toppers I put on there will mask that, and now it looks like it's completely back to degradation on there. So that's why I'm kind of just leaning at just giving this a panel wipe. Either I'm going to do a panel wipe and put can coat on there, or I'm going to go ahead and polish the entire car and just use can coat as my main level of protection for this car for the foreseeable future here. So I think that might be the plan going forward, is just use something like can coat, a coating light where I don't have to have a true ceramic coating on this paint that's going to last me years and years and years, because once in a while I do have to polish because that black panel is soft, and regardless of what coating I use, that thing mars very easily. So we'll see which route I go, and eventually I'm going to redo the wheels because I don't like the 3D coating I don't like it in general. I don't think it's not as hydrophobic. It tends to attract more dirt than anything, so I'll probably polish the wheels at some point, and then I think I'm going to put 22 PLE VM1, so I'm going to buy a new bottle of that as my main wheel coating. But yeah, I'm really thinking about putting can coat on here as my main level of protection going forward here, and then just polishing it once a year, put another fresh layer of can coat, call it good, because can coat will last you in the bottle at least for about a year, maybe a little bit longer, before it turns before it becomes unusable and when you spread it on the surface. So I think that's what I'm going to do with this car. I'm probably just going to use can coat as the main level of protection. I'm going to touch up the trim coating on here. I got to change out the wiper blades as well. So we're going to do some things, and I think I'm going to redo the glass coating. I think I'm going to put the PNS View glass coating on here because I want to give you guys long-term results on this. Even though this car doesn't see rain, I can give you long-term results if you have a car that's well maintained, that stays indoors quite often. So I think I'm going to do that for this glass. Other than that, I think that's it for this car. Again, if you guys are interested in Glassparency S1 as your pre-foam prior to polishing and coating, you can go ahead and use my affiliate link. I believe it saves you $5 off of your purchase. So I'll post a link down below. And again, thanks for watching.